Lads, I've got some bad news. You know how politics is an ongoing battle between the nothing ever happens lads and the it's finally happening lads? It might be happening.
Venezuelans lined up on Sunday to cast their votes in a referendum backed by President Nicolas Maduro. On the ballot, potentially oil-rich territory, and a gauge of support from Maduro's government ahead of a planned 2024 presidential election. The referendum deals with a border dispute with Guyana and includes a question about rejecting the right of the International Court of Justice to determine which country the territory around the Essequibo River belongs. Maduro encouraged voters to approve the referendum as he cast his ballot Sunday. In April, the court said it had jurisdiction, though a final ruling could be years away. Venezuela has said the issue should be resolved by the two countries, while Guyana requested a court to halt the referendum. On Friday, the court ruled without expressly forbidding the vote.
Both parties shall refrain from any action which might aggravate or extend the dispute before the court.
Political analysts told Reuters...
I love rulings like that. Yeah, basically, Venezuela has, for about 120 years now, said that they own about 2/3 of Guyana. You know, the last time they actually controlled this territory, like this is some like Ottoman Empire shit, okay? This is a territorial claim that they've held for a long time. It's at this point completely illegitimate. Like it would be like a country arguing that because of the time from like the Ottoman Empire, that means they actually technically own. Like to make it clear, okay? Russia has a more recent claim to Ukraine and Crimea than they do to this portion of Guyana by like 5 orders of magnitude or whatever, you know? Yeah, Venezuela's never. It's literally like it would be like if Russia claimed, I don't know, like East Germany all of a sudden. It's worse than that because Russia did have East Germany for. It's so stupid. There's no legitimacy here. There's no like Alaska. Yeah, Alaska basically. There's no like authentic dispute or like legitimate complicated history behind it. This has always been like a nationalistic threat that Venezuela has leveraged. President Maduro is incredibly unpopular. Venezuela has been in tatters for years now, and Maduro knows that the next election, the one coming up next year, will probably see him ousted. So he's looking to get a big win before the next election. Or potentially suspend the election altogether on account of military crisis by annexing a portion of the relatively undefended and oil-rich Guyana. Make sense?
Maduro's holding the referendum to test its electoral strength and expect the referendum to pass, given the lack of any no campaign.
Nice
What
glasses.
we expect with this poll is to recover the Essequibo in our territory, said this voter. The referendum is consultative.
So yeah, this is being referred to as them reclaiming their territory, which is total bullshit. It's just, again, it's complete nonsense. This goes back for a while. I really like this bit right here that got highlighted when I Google searched the history of this conflict. Guyana argues the boundary between the nations was clarified in the arbitral award of 1899 signed by Guyana, whereas Venezuela called the award an, quote, Anglo-Russian conspiracy. In 1962, Venezuela declared it would no longer abide by the arbitration decision because they wanted mineral-rich territory in the Orinoco Basin in Guyana. And then there was another arbitration, and they failed to reach agreement, and then they vetoed a bid, and then like again, you know, it's oh yeah, it was Guyana, right? Was it Guyana? Not Guyana? Or Guyana. Guyana. That was it. Guyana. There we go. Guyana. Guyana. Well, I disagree with Venezuela. Would it be wrong in principle for another nation to decolonize a colonial nation? Yeah, but that's just like not what's happening here. We're not talking about like, I don't know, like South African regions like uniting against colonial oppression or whatever. Guyana isn't like a perfect country or whatever, but it's more democratic than Venezuela. Guyana is a small and very sparsely populated country that does serve primarily as a shell for like Western companies. Like there's not much to it there, but it's not like Venezuela wants to do any better. Like Venezuela isn't looking to liberate Guyana. They just want the rich territory for themselves so they can exploit it, you know? It's not there's no like ideological battle taking place here. It's just a naked land grab. But I guess if like theoretically Guyana was still like an authoritarian regime that was a proxy for Western occupation and so on, and Venezuela wanted to invade to save them, then that's not inherently a bad thing. You know, that's not like an innately bad thing to do, I don't think. Though it's kind of tough to pull off. Apparently, Venezuelans voted by a wide margin, though I haven't actually seen the numbers yet. I saw on Twitter there was an estimate of the numbers that people were claiming was fake that I thought the fake numbers were real in the sense that I thought that was what the government reported, but it turns out they were estimates, so that was incorrect. I don't think the actual numbers have been put forward. So, you know, I don't know if the vote's faked or whatever. Lula seems to be taking a pro-peace position by saying he recognizes the 66 agreement, which is an agreement that says the conflict needs to have a peaceful resolution. Yeah, I guess it's really a matter of whether or not, like, is Venezuela going to do anything? Is this just, like, bluster on paper? Are they trying to start shit so Maduro can, like, have a tussle, you know, a sort of verbal spar with the other people involved? Will there be an invasion? Will there be intervention, you know? What's going on here? I don't really know. It's kind of hard to say until, you know, they actually mobilize forces. Brazil is taking this at least somewhat seriously because they've already mobilized troops on the border. France could get involved. They have 2,000 troops currently stationed in French Guyana. Is this Guyana, or Guyana? Okay? What's the pronunciation of this one? Yes, French Guyana. Okay, same pronunciation, different spelling. Fantastic. No, this one's Guyana? Isn't it Guyana? I'm just going to say it randomly every time. Let's let my brain decide, okay? I don't think the French would get involved. This seems like really messy. Also, 2,000 troops is nowhere near enough to meaningfully contest any territorial claim made by Venezuela. I mean, Venezuela's army is a lot larger than that. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. They're not real countries. That is true. They aren't real countries. Colombia could get involved. I doubt it. French Guyana and Guyana are two different things. Yeah, I know. They're different countries. French Guyana is legally part of France. Yeah, it's like a colony. Right? French Guyana is not a country. French Guyana is France. Yeah, it's like a colony, right? It's Guyana and French Guinea. What? Shut up. It's like the Hawaii of France. Oh, I'd love to go to the Hawaii of France. No, it's part of France proper. Here, let me check. Is Puerto Rico a colony? I mean, at times and to an extent. It depends on the specifics. I don't know much about French Guyana. I acknowledge this gap in my knowledge. It's not a real country. French.
Guyane.
Guyane, really? Really? There's an A at the end, and that's what we're going for.
Guyane.
French Guyane. Okay. Guyana, Guyane. Really? Uh-huh. What's the population here? 301,000. Oh, isn't that more people than Guyana? An overseas department of France located in the northern coast and Guyana's land area. Okay, yeah. An overseas department. Right, that's a French term. Okay. No, Guyana is 800K. Okay, gotcha. 600K for Guyana. Okay, less people than Guyana. Vosh, according to official authorities, a total of 10 million citizens voted. I can assure you that number is fake. Not even that many showed up for the presidentials. When was the last Venezuelan election? What was the vote count for that? 2018, so it's every 6 years? Oh, yeah, you're right. Fewer people showed up. The popular vote count for the last presidential was lower. So the numbers probably aren't, you know... My leftist friend in Venezuela views it as a stand against U.S. oil transnationals. I was surprised. That's total cope. Again, this is just like the American diabolism, like campus thing again. The idea that Venezuela's occupation of Guyana would be better for the people of Guyana than like U.S. oil companies or whatever is not true. This isn't like a genuine liberatory force, you know? Given that it's unlikely Brazil will get involved directly, but keep a close eye and support Guyana, do you think the U.S. might? I think Brazil is more likely to get involved than the United States. I think there's an incredibly, like, marginal chance that the United States gets involved. It's not like 0, but I think it's very, very, very low. Whereas I think Brazil's chance is higher. I think that Brazil has a sort of interest in demonstrating its regional hegemonic power and keeping peace in the area, you know? Also, it would make Brazil look weak if the US or any other power intervened. Vosh, it was 10.5 million votes, but there were 5 questioned. They 5 counted all voters. What? That's incredibly stupid. Why would anyone... If you had a class of 30 people and there were 10 questions on a quiz to hand out, you get like, oh, we have received 300 responses. What? That's insane. Okay, fine. Okay, Jesus. Incredibly stupid. Unbelievably stupid. The U.S. already kind of cooed Guyana once. I don't want us to do it again. Yeah, but we're not really in our, like, cooing Latin America era. Also, we wouldn't be cooing Guyana. We'd be defending them against invasion. It would be more of a Kuwait situation than anything. And the last time there was a Kuwait situation, we deleted Iraq, you know. But I don't think we're going to do that here. U.S. military planes flying over Guyana today, monitoring the border. Yeah, this makes sense. They're our ally. We engage with them. We talk with them. You know, we share airspace. Like we have a right to fly over their airspace. So it makes sense that we would do this. Guys, there's nothing to worry about from this. There are U.S. spy planes flying over the world all the time. If anything interesting is happening anywhere in the world that even remotely involves or implicates us, we have planes over it, you know? Global hegemon. How can I convince my Venezuelan friend not to support this without coming across as an imperialist? Yeah, easy. How does this intervention in any way, shape, or form benefit the people of Guyana? Like, what is Venezuela saying or doing that indicates that anything here has anything to do with the people of Guyana? Because even Maduro himself and Venezuela itself are just referring to this as like lost national territory. The idea that this is being done to free the people of Guyana from Western imperialism is such bull. Like, they're not even pretending that in the official messaging from Venezuela. They're not saying like, you know, oh, you know, we need to liberate the people of Guyana from Western. No, they're saying like, no, this is our territory, you know, and we don't recognize the 1899 arbitration or whatever. They're not even pretending that. Why are you pretending that? Where was that Venezuela propaganda video? Can I find that again? Can I hold on. Venezuela propaganda video Guyana. We watched it on stream. It was on Twitter. Could anyone find that for me? It was like so clearly, if anyone could find that. In the meantime. Pretty tree. A centuries-old territory dispute is threatening the tranquility and slow-paced life of locals. That is, okay, not gonna lie, AP News, this is the most, like, late 19th century white man's burden, darkest Africa, this is how the tribals live bullshit I've ever seen. What the f***? The slow-paced, primitive life of the natives is being imposed upon by the Italian invasion of northern Africa. Like, what is this? These noble, you know... Okay, I thought there'd be voiceover. You found it? Hey, Comrade Robin Hood! Hey, boo-boo! There's a picnic basket over there in Guyana. I heard they got some big forests.
De América del Sur se encuentra un vasto territorio que históricamente Venezuela ha reclamado. Se llama Guayana.
I don't speak Spanish. Or if they speak Brazilian, I don't speak Brazilian. Anyway, you can immediately see like what they give a shit about just from the propaganda video their government posts. Immediately we have like old history, our territory, blood and soil. You mean Portuguese? Portuguese is just Brazilian, okay? I don't care. That's what everyone thinks of when they think of Portuguese. I know there are other people that speak it. Nobody cares. It's Brazilian. Have you looked at a map? Brazil's like 90% of Latin America. Calm down. That's like saying English is American. Yes, another thing that I do.
Esplendoroso. En el Esequibo hay una mezcla de culturas aborígenes, africanas y europeas que reflejan la huella de su verdadero origen.
God, I wish I
Hoy,
could speak whatever
más que
language this
nunca,
is.
debemos defender nuestra integridad territorial, que debe ser preservada y valorada por las generaciones presentes y futuras.
Whatever ancient language
Con toda
this
la
is, whatever
conciencia
lost
patria,
language.
La fuerza moral y en perfecta fusión cívico-militar, nos mantenemos movilizados.
Oh yeah, I remember. The goddamn like naval cum shot that has a sailing vessel in it.
Nos mantenemos movilizados y alertas en defensa de nuestra Guayana Esequiba. Tenemos un compromiso con la patria. El Esequibo es nuestro.
TBH, given Guyana is the only South American country that criminalizes homosexuality for them. Is that true? Countries that criminalize homosexuality map. Oh shit, no kidding. All right, boys. New liberatory force to ally with. It's time. Maximum punish, life imprisonment. It's time. Maybe that's why the Jonestown massacre happened. They were all upset that they couldn't be gay or something. Venezuela is coming to liberate the homosexuals of Guyana. Colombian Air Force jets also monitoring the Venezuelan border, as well as the whole region is on edge. Let's see. Yeah, it makes sense. Everyone's kind of curious to see how this plays out. Wait, they were in Guyana and not Ghana? Ghana is a different place, in a different part of the world. Why is Russia not highlighted? Because this is specifically about the criminalization of homosexuality. Russia has, like, anti-gay media laws, but it's not illegal to be gay in Russia. It probably will be soon. But yeah, this is about just criminalizing being gay. Wasn't that recent in Russia? It's not officially on the books. Didn't they just do it? Russia literally made it illegal the other day. Did they? Hold on. Russia anti-gay law. Which one? Here we go. Supreme Court bans LGBT movement as extremist. Sorry, this is still not criminalizing homosexuality. This is really bad, but again, this is specifically about there literally being a law on the books saying it is a crime to be gay. That's different. I know that, like, Russia's basically playing like, I'm not touching you with those laws. You know? Like, Russia's basically legislating around that. You know, they're building a wall around that. Check the liked tweets of the Guyana president. Uh-huh. So, I can't show this on stream, but the most recent liked video, tweet, whatever, from Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali is a video of a guy dancing with his entire ass out, no underwear, looking pretty caked up, TBH, in what looks like some kind of party or celebration. Is this actually the official account? It's followed by Lula da Silva, but it hasn't tweeted in like over a year. But it's followed by Lula da Silva? Is this like his private account, but then there's like an official Guyana president account that he tweets from, kind of like the whole Biden versus White House account thing? Is it gray? Check if it's official. It is, and it's followed by Lula da Silva. All right, I have no explanation for this, apart from perhaps that homophobes love cock. Cool. Link it. I want to see the ass. You can. It's been linked in chat. So anyway, what's the conclusion we're arriving to after all this? We support the Venezuelan people in their liberatory movement to free Guyana's people from the tyranny of homophobia. Is that what we got? Is that the conclusion that we're drawing at the end of this? Okay, very nice. Dumbass. Why would a propeller need wings? Idiot. That would interfere with the propeller. Idiot. All right. Very good. Lamau 1990s ass sound effects. Listen, with Venezuela's economy being what it is, we're lucky that we even have that. No, I get that, Comrade Robin Hood. I'm talking about, like, again, they're playing like footsies with that technical legal boundary. Guyana just had its first Pride Parade? Really? Oh, that's nice. How could they have a Pride Parade? It's illegal to be LGBT in Guyana. Is this one of those, is this one of those things where, like, that's technically the case, but it's not really enforced? Under the powerful banner of Decriminalized Sex Guyana, the Year's Festival boldly confronts a stark reality. Guyana stands among a minority of only 6 countries in the Caribbean whose laws continue to criminalize same-sex intimacy. The coalition has since underscored these archaic laws are remnants of British colonialism, long repealed by parliaments in the UK and the Bahamas, and deemed unconstitutional by Caribbean courts in independent CARICOM countries such as Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and most recently Barbados. Okay? Well, graciously hosted by Bishop Francis Ayene, the esteemed head of the Roman Catholic Church in Guyana, at the Catholic Life Center in Brickdom. Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, I guess that's true, the Radical Dino. I guess I just wonder if this is one of those things where the law isn't really, like, enacted that often, because there are anti-sodomy laws in the United States that are basically just unconstitutional, so they're not enforced, you know? I wonder how... Hold on. Gay discrimination, Guyana. Let me take a look at these laws specifically. Here we go. Because I'm curious. The only country in South America and the only mainland country in the Americas where homosexual acts are still illegal. Cross-dressing was illegal until November 2018 when the statute was struck down by the Caribbean Court of Justice, the court of last resort of Guyana. Man, the Caribbean Court of Justice is the most badass, you know? Because for the most part in Western media, the only times you ever hear about the Caribbean are in, like, I don't know, Captain Jack Sparrow shit. Because that's where all the media that takes place in the Caribbean is, in like, the movies or whatever. So then it's like, you know, jump ahead 300 years, and the Caribbean Court of Justice. I don't know, it just sounds cool. I'm going to keep mispronouncing the name. You can't stop me. Efforts to decriminalize homosexual behavior here have gained momentum from legal developments in neighboring countries. Guyanese people tend to view homosexuality, trans people, and non-binary people negatively, though attitudes are slowly changing, becoming more accepting. The country's first Pride Parade was in 2018. I wonder when the last time somebody was arrested for homosexual behavior. President David A. Granger in 2016 said he supports legalizing same-sex sexual acts. The Belize Supreme Court struck down its sodomy ban as unconstitutional. So when are they going to get around to it? It seems like momentum is really on the side of moving this over. Aw, man, that's... In 2017, a trans woman was assaulted and attacked in the capital city of Georgetown. She reported the attack to the police and filed a case against her attacker before the Georgetown Magistrates Court. On the 2nd of March 2017, the day the verdict was announced, she was denied entry into the courtroom because she was not, quote, dressed like a man. The court later dismissed her case. President Maduro, as a citizen of the world, I am calling upon you to liberate the people of Guyana from this tyranny. President Xi Jinping, we are ready. About 60% of the population of Guyana are Christians, while the remaining are mostly Hindu and Muslim. A number of religious leaders and groups have resisted proposed discrimination protections for LGBT people. The Georgetown Ministers' Fellowship called on the government to ban the LGBT Pride Parade, stating that queer people should have no right to freedom of assembly and freedom of speech. The group called the event immoral. The government ignored their request. In 2013, Cadre study observed that 14% of Guyanese people supported legalizing same-sex marriage. While a 2010 Latin American Public Opinion Project, Vanderbilt University study found Guyana had among the lowest level of support in the Americas, with a score of 7.2 units on a score of 0 to 100. Jesus Christ. The average score in the Americas overall was 26.8. That's interesting. I wonder why this country is so socially conservative. Like, why... Like, if the head of the local Catholic Church is marching along with and presiding over the Pride event, like, it seems weird. Like, all the other countries nearby have moved ahead of this, it seems. And then the local... The Catholic branch is sort of pushing in favor of pro-LGBT. In comparison, the America's Barometer released by LA Pop in 2017 reported nearly triple the support for same-sex marriage, with a corresponding score now 20.6. Okay, growing tolerance. The majority of Guyanese people now accept or tolerate queer people, according to the findings of a 2022 poll named Perceptions and Attitudes Towards Queer People in Guyana. Oh, that's really nice. It only took a couple of years. It only took like a decade to go from 14% to like, yeah, that's nice. Hatred of LGBT people had decreased from 25% in 2013 to 12%. Cutting the number of people who say they hate LGBT people in half in a decade is actually pretty impressive. Additionally, 72.4% of respondents said they accept and tolerate LGBT persons, compared with 34.5% in 2013. That is, okay, admittedly, I will say, this is a remarkably fast shift. In 9 years to go from 34.5% to 72.4%, that is very impressive. It really makes me wonder, like, what kind of cultural tide, like, what shift is happening over there that led to this? Well, that's pretty nice. Do you think being a smaller country helps speed the shift up? That's a good point, yeah. Guyana's really small, less than 1 million people, right? So it makes sense that, it makes sense, I guess, that cultural changes might happen, like, relatively fast there? I wonder when the population of Guyana, like, mostly went online, you know? Yeah, I wonder when, like, the average person here, the average Guyanese, got connected to the internet. Internet access in Guyana. They saw all the, like, gay furry porn or whatever. Hold on. Share of mobile internet users. Hold on. Ah. Yeah, guys, this might actually be it. Look. I don't know how reliable this data is, but for Guyana, you have number of internet users as a percentage and number of mobile internet users. And combined, it's at 98% now. But if you take a look at how sharply these graphs rose, even just in a data set going back to 2018, it gives the impression that back in 2013, a lot of these bitches weren't online, you know? So it's possible that it's only been in the past, like, 6 to 8 years that there's been a big shift in internet access in Guyana. As a consequence of that, you know, they saw the gay furry porn and they've changed their mind. So what you're saying is cell phones cause gay and gay acceptance? The internet has probably been the most effective device for LGBT acceptance in human history, yeah. Like, bar none, nothing else comes close. Because then, when you can be anonymous online, you can be yourself, and you see there are actually, like, an ungodly number of people who are like you all over the world, and then that's it, you know? Like, this is very unique to queer people, because this isn't necessarily the case for ethnic groups. If you're Kurdish, you may be oppressed, but you live around other Kurdish people. You're not in the closet as a Kurd, you know? You go online and you see Kurdish people, sure, but, like, you already saw them. You were in their ghetto. Whereas with gay people, you know, you go online and you see, like, you live in Saudi Arabia or, you know, Russia or Guyana, and you see that over here in America, like, there are, like, out and proud gay people or whatever. And it's like, wait, hold on, you know, you can be happy, you can live your life freely, and that probably leads to a huge shift in acceptance. Also, for a straight person, in homophobic countries, I bet you the average dude living in Saudi Arabia believes he's never met a gay person, you know? It's like how 20 years ago, a lot of people believed they'd never met a trans person, you know? It's like, because they never thought they met one, they didn't know what they were like, so they were open to any kind of insane, like, homophobic propagandizing, like, oh, they're all predators, oh, they'll rape you, they'll steal your kids. And then you go online, you see there are tons of gay people who are just normal, and then it's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess, you know, again, as always, exposure makes it very difficult to be hateful towards people. All right, well, I feel like we've learned a lot of nice stuff today. Well, I mean, that sounded like I'm ending stream. I'm not. I mean, like, we've done something constructive with this bit of information. Okay. Yeah, stream over, go home.